Hello all. I'd just like to say that I've given them a treatment. It's looking a bit murky at the moment, but they all seem to be enjoying it. There's a couple of fish that have got a couple of marks on them through parasites and stuff like that. There's been a lot going on tonight in the world of everybody. I think people should just like always go to the common cause, and everybody wants the same sort of thing. I really think that it's just wrong that people don't get along over things like what's going on in the country at the moment. And I just want to bring joy to everybody, and I'm just upset that what's going on and that people are not getting along. And I just hope the fish bring a bit of joy to everybody. They all seem to be happy at the moment. They love their Cheerios and their other stuff. If anybody wants to see certain things, just put in all in the chat, and I can show you what you want. If you want to see certain fish, that one had issues on its side there, the goshki there. He had issues on its side, so I've had to put in a treatment. I found flukes on one fish, and so that's why, like I say, it's murky at the moment. Sorry about the glare from the lights. That's a albino grass carp there. That one there is a Zuri there. Another grass carp. That one over there that's a Goromo. That's a Zuri, the yellow and black one. That one there is a Yamabuki Ogon. That one there is a Orangi Ogon, obviously orange. That down there, oh, Goromo's just going past. That down there is a Sankey. That red, see the black on its shoulder there, that's a new one. That's what's known as a Sankey. That's just a normal common carp there, getting in the way. That's a Karashi Goi, as seen in the shorts. Thank you very much. Thank you very much, Tim or Marina. That's 5 foot deep, mind, and it's very cloudy at the moment, but they love their food and their Cheerios. Strangely enough, Cheerios. As you can see, that's just a mixture of both there. They just literally just love their food, all they eat. As you can see, they're probably fat fish, as everybody sees it. Hi Pauline, good to see you in. Thank you very much. And Tim, Marina, Jamie, as always, Melvin, Nick, he's a very good supporter of my channel. I'm just looking down through the chat now, sorry. I don't know where Clashy is. Obviously this is live now. Game over. Yeah, they've been a bit funny recently. They literally, I've seen a bit of flashing and flicking and stuff like that, so literally I've had to put a treatment in. That's why, like I said, you can usually see the bottom on it, on the pond. And like I say, that's 5 foot of water. That's one of the new ones there. They're from Marseille. That one's another new one from Marseille, as you can see in my post. This one's one of the friendliest ones here, literally. And see, look, it'll just come up and have a go at my finger. Another decent sized fish, Karashigoi there. Garomo. He's got a, if you look at the funny twist in him, he's got a tumour on his right hand side. I'm hoping that it'll keep going, but you can see it there, the bump there, there's a big tumour there. But these things happen, I guess. There's a couple of, there's about 4 albino grass carp. That's one there, and that's another one there. I'm waiting for Laney to see, because he could have a couple of them. That's a big common carp there. That's close to 20 pounds, that is, so it's not a small fish. But they love their food. That's another albino grass carp. As you can see from probably some of my shorts, you can see it in their eyes. They've got a lot of albino. Even in human beings, you get the pink eye in them, and they've got like pink eyes. But it's quite difficult to see at the moment, like I say, because I've just put a treatment in that's turned all the water green. So we'll wait and see. I keep them for quite a long time, to be fair, Nick. What happens is, if they've got any sort of like issues, what you do is you put them with a fish that you've got in your pond, because a lot of people blame the breeder or the dealer for selling you a fish, but a lot of the time it's your fish in your pond that are carrying and have become immune to these diseases. So you need to just put them with somebody else, or somebody that's in your pond, to be able to produce any sort of issues that might come a cropper. But obviously you've got to be very, very careful, because there's a lot of diseases that these fish might have become immune to, that when you put a new fish into the pond, they could literally just start off something that you didn't have in there before, and you'd blame the breeder for it, or you'd blame the dealer for it. But a lot of the time it's not actually the dealer. I had that issue quite a long time back now, that the dealer did bring issue into my pond, and I could see that from going back to the dealer and seeing that the issue was there, and it brought issue into my fish. So now you've just got to be very, very vigilant, and as soon as you see any sort of small issue of what we call flicking or flashing, fish obviously don't have arms or anything like that to be able to scratch. So what they do is they literally just scratch themselves against anything that they can find. If they've got an itch, well, that itch could become from a parasite or something like that. So the parasite's irritating their skin, and they want to itch off the bottom to try and get rid of that parasite. This is that one there, for instance. That there is a goshki, which is my favourite fish in the pond. I don't like saying that, because usually my favourite fish, something happens to him. Which at the moment he's got an issue on his shoulder, and that's why I've put because I found flukes on another fish, not him, but I found flukes on another fish, which I think he itched and caused himself to get a bruise. I've seagulls. To be fair, Tim, I had an issue with seagulls. That's why I've got all that netting that I put up around, and at the moment, because of the winter, I've got all this plastic sheeting around. So the biggest one I've had is seagulls. I had heron coming through that gap there, but now since I've put the plastic through, they don't seem to touch my fish, obviously, because they can't get to it. But yeah, seagulls are the worst. My favourite fish was a Beni Kikakiru, which I left to go up the shop. I left the actual mesh up, and I left to go up the shop for well, all of 30 minutes, if not that, through the day, and when I come back it was gone. A seagull had pinched it. So since that, I've put in like netting all around. Hey Hugh, good to see you in, thank you very much. Yeah, if you've missed anything, literally we've got, like, that's a Karashigoi there, which is a yellow fish really, but they get to be big. That's a Sankey there, that red and white one, red, white and black, sorry. That's a Goromo, but he's got a tumour on its tail. If you can see that bump sticking out, which is, he's been like it for years, mine, but he seems to keep going. That's a big common carp over there. That's nearly 20 pounds. So a few grass carp, albino grass carp. That's Orangi Ogon. Then you've got a Kiyuzuri, which is the yellow and black one there. You've got a Karashigoi there. No, sorry, a Chagoi there. That greeny sort of pale one there. That's the Shirozuri down there, the black and white one. That's a Yamabuki Ogon there, the yellow one. That's a big common there. That's a Gushiki there, over there. That's a Chiba, that one there. That's a Kiyuzuri, yellow and black. Let's see if they want some more food. They seem to like Cheerios at the moment, I don't know why. They seem to be loving the Cheerios, the normal food that goes in there that's like high protein, high fish meal. They seem to don't want to know too much, but as soon as Cheerios go in, they go crazy. We'll see. But that's like 5 foot deep. honestly Nick, there's so many names, it's unbelievable with fish. Over there is that one there, because it's light orange. Oh, I don't know if you can see it very well, but that's a Kinshoa, that is, because it's not a deep red or a deep orange. It's more of a sort of like shiny orange, which means it's a black, white and orange fish. But yeah, there are so many different types, it's unbelievable. Literally, that's a ghost koi there, that one there. That's probably the biggest koi in the pond, other than the normal carp that are in there. But I've got a mirror carp in there and a common carp in there that are like I say, close to 20 pounds. Even though they don't look it in here, but they are. Trust me, when it comes to the summer, and when I'll show you them hand feeding on mussels, and they are big fish. That's a Kinkizuri there, that orangey sort of like and black one. I call that one Hungary because it's just literally always eating. It doesn't stop eating. There she is there, Big Mama. But you see, look, they've taken all the Cheerios. Pretty much most of the Cheerios have gone, other than the food. They've just eaten all the Cheerios, which is very weird. I don't know why they do it. I don't know if you can see that on that one. There's a slight raised bit on his shoulder, see? Just off to its left. There's a bump there, and it's caused a couple of raised scales and a slight pinkening of him. That was why I put the treatment in, because he was looking like he'd been scratching on the side and obviously caused a bruise there. So that is why I put the treatment in, and obviously did some scrapes on a few fish and found a fluke, which then I noticed over the next couple of days there was a few that were scratching on the bottom, which is sort of like to try and get rid of irritations, and they literally use the bottom or the sides or any obstacle that they've got. They use them to scratch off obviously what's irritating them. So you've just got to keep vigilant really, and make sure that obviously they're all okay. Like the scalation on that Yamabuki is insane. If you literally go right down, that's a Ginrin Yamabuki Odon, and the scalation on it is absolutely insane. But yeah, that's 5 foot deep, and that Karashigoi down there, the yellowy one down on the bottom there, is pretty much on the bottom, and you can see him. But once the treatment goes through, it's got 10 days to go through, then it'll clear up. They're funny things. Through the summer, when it's literally, it's only like 15 odd degrees at the moment, but through the summer when it gets to like 20 degrees, I like to just go in there and chill and cool down after a long day's work, as long as I haven't got any sort of like deodorants and anything like that on me, then I don't care. Yeah, they're ghost carp are crazy fish, Hugh. They're literally just a mixture of a koi and a normal carp, really. It's just an interbreed. They get, because I'm a fisherman, Nick, they get pellets like I fishing pellets, but not too often, because there's a lot of oil content in normal fishery pellets. So I use obviously a koi food in there mixed with Cheerios. That's got sort of like, it's a 6mm floating pellet, and obviously there's Cheerios in there. The red one is another high colour, so it enhances the colours like reds and stuff like that in the fish. But they're sort of like 40% protein, but obviously you can't feed too much of them while the temperatures are cold. Really, ideally, it needs to be 20 plus to get any use out of them, because obviously, like carp, they haven't actually got a stomach. It's just a long intestinal system. So if you feed them too much, because it goes through their system too long, you're actually putting more waste in your pond. So the higher and more expensive food you give them, the more you're polluting your own pond. So yeah, you've got to be very careful. What was that noise? Yeah, I've got like fishery pellets, like, you know, fish meal fishing pellets that I do feed them. They're sinking ones, obviously, but I don't feed them too much. The cat sounds like it's wandering around on top of my roof. Damn thing. But obviously these lilies, it grows from the fish pull the little tuber off of the lilies, and then I cultivate them down there. Look, and I've got loads of lilies growing. But the lilies love the water, and they just grow huge, like they're in a tropical environment. And this year, since I've put the plastic up around the outside to try and keep a little bit more of the heat in, the fish have enjoyed it more. They've literally and the plants have enjoyed it more, because usually they die back to nothing. Yeah, it is all a balance, Nick. It is all a balance. The fish take out the nitrates. Obviously there's a cycle that ammonia that the fish produce, like, you know, no different to ammonia from humans, gets then turned into nitrites by your beneficial bacteria. Then the nitrites then get turned into nitrates, and then things like plants and stuff like that all live off the nitrates. If you've got a perfect cycle, then the fish thrive on that perfect cycle. Right, that's the drum going off, if you can hear it. So what I've got is a drum that, as soon as the screens get blocked up, there's a float switch that tells it needs to clean, and then obviously it cleans out all the waste, the mechanical waste from the system, and then that anything else, the clean water goes through to a moving bed chamber, which I've got on my shorts, which is a load of what's known as K1 and Helix media, which moves around, and that produces beneficial bacterial sticks to it, and then obviously that consumes all your issues and nitrites, nitrates, ammonias and stuff like that. But obviously the waste product is a nitrate, and the plants love a nitrate, and all the waste water that comes from my pond all goes through to the plants in the garden. They literally all, you can't see it now in the dark, but they all benefit from, I've got a pipe that goes around there, and they all benefit from that waste water as such. But yeah, in the summer, as soon as it starts getting warmer, I'll get a few fish out, because obviously at the moment I don't really want to. I've recently put in 4 new fish from Marseille, which are doing well. That's one of them there, that one there, that Sankey red white with the black on it down there. He's like 28 centimeters, something like that, 29. But yeah, I don't want to stress them out too much at the moment, and obviously the temperatures are cold still, and once it gets warmer, it'll settle down and they'll be feeding like crazy. But it's a good time to put in any treatments anyway, before serious issues occur as such, because any parasite can take over the pond in no time at all, really. But if anybody's got any requests to look at certain fish, then give me a shout. Obviously it's difficult to pick out certain fish at the moment. Damn spiders love it underneath here at the moment as well. Look at them. I don't know where her name is. But if name's about, there's Pips down there. The one I have in my hand, I can't see it because of the stupid lights. That is probably going to be one of my biggest fish, that Karashigoi, because that's still growing. That's well over 50 centimetres, that fish. It's an absolute beast. That thing never grows. Yeah, that's why I built it, Nick, really, to be fair. I built it sort of like 17 and a half, nearly 18 years ago now. I've had its issues. It's caused me a lot of stress. I won't lie. You know, buying in fish that I was, I don't know, a bit silly and didn't really think about it when I brought them in, and caused me a lot of issues. She is an absolute beast. She don't look it in the pictures, but she is an absolute beast. Wait till the summer when I'm feeding them mussels, frozen mussels, and I defrost them. I still don't know what that black spot is on her cheek. I haven't got to the bottom of what that is. I've still got to ask a few people, but it's been there for quite a while now, and it's just seems to grow with her. It's like a bit like a mole on humans, I think. But it's weird. It's just some big black spot, and she's only got it on one cheek. But there's a, I would say through fishing knowledge, that one is about, I don't know, £8, something like that. That common there is about £8, which I'm hopefully I'm going to try and get rid of this year, because obviously it's taken up space. Good night, Hugh. Take care. Thanks for coming in. Chiba. But obviously I've got a few goldfish in there. The missus loves the goldfish, so I keep them in there. But the goldfish have got massive. They've got ridiculous sizes. Like I say, seeing in my shorts, that one that I call Pit is like, you know, bigger than hand, and it's just it's like an ornamental goldfish. But the colours on some of the new ones that I've got from Marseille are just insane. Absolutely insane. Once they mature, get bigger, they come from jumbo bloodlines as well, so for the age of them, they're already big fish, even though they're small fish compared to some of the fish in here. But in time they will certainly get to big fish if we don't have any problems. Another grassy there, albino grassy. Look at its red eye glowing there. Funny fish. As soon as you net them, if you get them close to you, they just go absolutely mental. You can net them really easily, but as soon as they get close to you, they go nuts. As any fisherman would know. I'll pull a few leaves off that lily. By the looks of things, they've gone down into the water, only rot. But down there, you can't really see it. Down there is there's a bottom drain where them bubbles are coming up, just as you can see it. There's a bottom drain down there, and then if we go across to this side, there's another bottom drain down in the middle of that, off the L there, where them bubbles are coming up there, in 5 foot of water, and then that goes round behind the roof there, which you won't see in this light. But there's another chamber where the pumps are, so that the fish don't have any pumps or anything in the water. Very sort of like, so they can't damage themselves on things, because fish like to scratch on things. There she is, Big Mama, look at her. The scalation on her is insane. It really is. For a common carp. And she is an absolute beast. And there's a big mirror in here as well. And if people that are in here at the moment haven't seen, good night Nick, take care mate. And if people haven't seen before from my previous videos, going around from the outside, excuse me at the moment, there's obviously a window that you can see into all the fish. There's one of the grassies there. You can see all the amount of growth that's on the walls and stuff. Literally goes through there. And there she is again. She's always in the shot. There's a chub there. You don't see many of them in people's ponds, but that's a chub. And there. That's probably about £2, I expect. That's probably about £2, that chub, roughly. There's the crasher guys, you can see at the depth of it. And that one there, that's the chub going across. Another albino grass carp. Another one of the common carp there, and the smaller ones. There's a mirror carp there. That one there is just like a shabumpkin there. We call George, but it's a female fish, so it's definitely Georgina. Hey John C, good to see you. Just going through. There's a chub there, John C. You obviously don't get them over there, but that's what's known as a chub over here. That's about £2, I'd say, roughly about £2. Obviously there's treatment's gone in at the moment, so it's a little bit green in water coloration, but there's a couple of the new Marisai fish. I've still got to sort out that line. I don't like that in the front of the bubbles, the airline going down there. I'm going to sort it out so it's out of the way. I'm going to probably put... don't know why it did that. Don't know why it buffered like that. Sorry about that. Kojak, is there anything you want to see at the moment? It's obviously the big common there. Like I said to everybody, I've recently put treatments in there because my big goshki was, it's got like a bruise on his shoulder where he's sort of like scratched or something. So I scraped a load of fish. And found a fluke, which then 2 or 3 days later, yeah, Ghosty's all right, mate. Where is he? What are we doing? I'll find him in a minute. Who's that? Most of the grassies. He's down there, look. There he is there. There's one of the ghosties. Difficult to see. But yeah, that goshby there, if you look, there's a bump on his left hand shoulder. And it had a couple of raised scales. Didn't have any flukes on him when I found him. When I actually scraped him and stuff like that. Whereas the new ones, no, they're back in here now, John. They're in here. Where is he? There's one of them there. There. That's the Tanky from Marseille there. There's another one down there. That's a shower from Marseille. Okay. Sorry about that. I don't know why it's buffering. I'm on my bloody Wi-Fi. I don't know why it's buffering out here. Crashy boy. Beast. But yeah, they're all just like chilling out. And like I say, I haven't put the net in here, John, because of the factor that I don't want to stress them out any more than they already have, of obviously going into the big pond. They've had their time with, like, yeah, Kojak there, to be fair now, and literally they've come on leaps and bounds in the last couple of years, the grassies, and the two bigger ones are like well over 50 cm. Probably the biggest one's probably pushing 60 cm, to be fair. That's the smaller one there next to the common, the big common. But I'd never risk taking her out. It's just too much of a risk. When fishing for them, you know how long it takes to bring a fish like that in on rod and line and in a net. She would just literally destroy herself. She really would. So she just stays in there now. But I'm still looking to get rid of a couple of the common carp, and probably the two smaller grassies. That one there, the brighter yellow one there, I'm probably going to get rid of that one, and that one there, and then I'm keeping that one over there. I'm keeping this one here. But as soon as they see, that's a shabumpkin, and that is just massive. We call it Helen because it was George and Helen originally, but George, like I say, turned into being a female, and I've got a funny feeling that one's a male, which is very weird for the size of it. But it actually, the way it reacts and stuff, it's a male. There's George, which is now Georgina there, that black and white one there. Gets chased around by all the males every time it comes into spawning season, so it's 100% female. That's Flo, another shabumpkin. But yeah, that fish there, as you can probably see, and probably John will tell you, that's 100% a male carp, common carp. If you look at the pec fins and the actual body shape of it, compared to females, always get that belly in around the back end, and pectoral fins give it away a lot of the time. They're more smaller and pointier than the male fish. But yeah, that's a bream there, that one there, like right in the middle of the screen. That's a bream. I've got a couple of bream in there, and then I've got a couple of rudd. The water temperature now is just touch 15, John. Just touch 15. so it's not even that warm at the moment. Yeah, it's just touched 15. I've got a permanent sensor where that water comes from, the waterfall there in the shed. I've got a permanent sensor in there because I've got a box full of media in there as well, and that is that tells me the temperature, so I can just go in the shed and literally, it's a digital one, and I can definitely get the temperatures of the waters, because obviously when, as you know, when treating fish and stuff like that, you need certain temperatures, but I can't afford to heat it because of the sheer size of it. I did have a tench. I had a golden tench, Nick, and I lost it. It went through mega amounts of winters, but tench love to in the wild, they love to like sit in the silt through the winter and like hibernate as such, and obviously this has got nothing, and obviously it didn't like it. It went through probably 6, 7, even 8 winters, but it just didn't like it. It didn't like the cleanness and the clarity of the pond. Hiya Paul, how you doing, buddy? Just a quick one on my fish and my pond. Probably seen from the from before. Literally, it's this is 5 foot deep at the moment. It's got a treatment in it, so you can't really see the bottom, but once the treatments come out, then it literally, you'll be able to see the bottom. There's a couple of the new fish there, but obviously that common there is a male for sure, by the body shape and its fins. I call it Buddha, to be fair. I don't know why, we've always named it Buddha. Yeah, it's too cold at the moment, John, for them to chase. They like, I've noticed them before. I know goldfish are different, but I've noticed them in here. They don't start chasing each other around till it gets like 20 degrees. But this season, 100%, I'm getting rid of this roof, and I'm going to try and put some sort of polytunnel over the top of it to gain more heat, more light, and everything else, to try and get them. Yeah, that was a rudd. I've actually got 2 rudd in here. I got rid of a load of rudd, Kojak. They bred in here, and I had like hundreds of them. They were everywhere. They were like goldfish. They were just everywhere. And so I literally got rid of a load of rudd. There's George, or Georgina now, because it's definitely female. There's the Gromo there with the tumour on its side at the back. See the bump there, and the funny coloration around it. That's definitely some sort of like cancer tumour, but it's been like it for years. It keeps going. It's my fish that tells me if there's anything wrong in the pond, to be fair. If its fins aren't up, I know instantly that there's something up, and that's another reason why I treated it. That one there, Kayak, you wouldn't believe it, but that is close to 20 pounds. That common there. Hell of a fish. Call it Big Mama. And there's a mirror in here nearly that size as well, but she's sort of more French looking. She's sort of like really deep and sort of like rugby ball shaped. There's a skimmer there. Grass carp, albino grass carp. Orangiogon, that one there. I've probably gone through all these ones before. That's a Kinki Zuri, that one there, the black and orangey one. That's a Kiwi Zuri there, the yellow and black one, just swimming underneath. That one there's a Sankey, yeah, black, red and white. Yeah, get the float rod out. I actually test my rigs in here, but obviously without hook lengths on. I test my pole rigs in here, but I actually tested a plummet in here. Believe it or not, and that one there, the big common, come along and ate the plummet. it ate the plummet and then got hooked. And I was like, oh my god, it was the worst thing in the world. Yeah, I can believe it, John. I can believe it. Literally, I've got a, you can't see it, but I've got a blinking pot. There's a pot down, I've got a couple of steps there, but there is a pot down there. It's like a big, like the biggest basket you can get. And that's got a lily in it. And I dropped that once and it landed on a rud. And that rud literally had a broken back, and it lasted probably 10 years with a broken back, and then eventually died. But yeah, they're so easy to damage. There's a couple of things that I did. See if you can look over there on that corner. I 45 that corner over there because it was sticking out. Because fish, any fish, love a scratching point because they want to itch. They love a scratching point. If you put any sort of like sharp corners or anything like that on your pond, like internal corners like that, if you put a sharp edge on them, they'll destroy themselves. Literally trying to itch and get rid of stuff, like any frustrations they've got or whatever itches. They'll literally destroy themselves. They knock scales off, they bruise themselves, they damage themselves. You've got to keep away every single sharp object in the pond as much as possible, because they just love to itch on it. They'll find, no different to your local pond, you'll find that fish jump in the same area every single time because they've found somewhere that they can scratch themselves, and that's why they jump. They scratch themselves on obstacles like roots, tree branches, anything like that, to try and get rid of parasites. And they'll literally, and that'll be a regular scratching point for them. See that one there, she just eats and eats and eats. You can literally throw food in and she'll just keep on eating. Well, if you see in my short in the bowl, she is wide, she is long. She eats all the pies. That's why she's been named Hungary. I don't know what they've had probably way too much food tonight. But the system that I've got here, it literally can take like so much food, it's unbelievable. It literally goes, it goes down 2 bottom drains, one either end, and then that goes over right over in the far corner, which goes to 2 pumps that I can control any speed I want, and they go up to 20,000. Both pumps go up to 20,000 litres an hour. Yeah, they are some big, sure, they are some big goldfish. Like, if you look in the short, Pippa, I don't know where she is. She's usually down the bottom eating somewhere, I expect. But if you look at my short, she is like over a handful, easy. And I got her from somebody else. I got her from somebody else that their daughter didn't want it, and literally it was in like a little tank, and since it's come into here, it's obviously had the environment to grow massive, and it's got, you know, all the different details to be able to just grow huge. Yeah, that yellow one there, that yellow one there, and that yellow one there, and there's another one. They're all albino grass carp, they are. The biggest is about 53 centimeters, something like that. That's just a normal common carp there. Cute, just going over the same things really. That's a goshki there. that one there. I'm hoping still that it's going to get the fuchsia in on it, like the black bits on the grey. But yeah. Hey Matty, good to see you, mate. There's the Goshki that's damaged its shoulder. That's what I put the treatment in. You can just see that pink in there, just behind its pectoral thing. See the pink in area? And the scales are slightly raised. Difficult to see on camera, but that fish is well over 50 centimetres. There. That fish is well over 50 centimetres. This one's another one over 50 centimetres, that one is. Kinky Zuri. He's been in there for years, and he's I think the sturgeon. Actually, where is the sturgeon? I haven't seen the sturgeon for a while, to be fair. Where is Ed? What I call Ed. That's Karashi boy. I don't know why it keeps buffering. Yeah, see the black, it's like a black spot. It's still. John C, do you know? Is John C around still? What is that black spot? I've always wondered. It probably about 3 years ago now, you got that black spot. I still don't understand what it is. I'm guessing it's like a mole on fish. Yeah, it probably is stuck to the bottom of John. Do you know? Do you know what that is, John? Till it turns round. Sure, that fish is close to 20 pounds. There, that black spot there. What is that? It's had that for about 3 years. And it's got bigger and bigger as the fish has grown. Hey Lewis, how you doing, buddy? Good to see you. Yeah, strange, John. I actually don't know what it is. It's not causing her any issue, but it's just, it started off as a tiny black spot, and it's obviously grown with her. As she's been growing, it's grown on her cheek. Thanks, mate. I don't really want to go through the same things again, but that there is a Goshki, spelled Goshiki. That's a small albino. That's a albino grass carp. That's another Goshiki. The orange one there is a Orangiogon. That's a Kim Q. Sorry about the glare. That's a Karashigoi there. That's over 50 centimetres long, that is. He's a beast. Possibly he. It's still unknown at the moment on body shape, because the body shape is looking male from that, but we'll see this summer. Scalation on Big Mama though is just insane. That's a cute Zuri there, that yellow and black one. What else we got? But at the moment it's got a treatment in there, so because I've had a couple of issues with a couple of knocked areas where they've been scratching, so I found a couple of gill flukes on them, so I've literally put in a treatment. That's why it's a little bit murky. Usually you can see a pin on the bottom of it at 5 foot deep. There's a big albino grassy there, you can see from the red eyes. That's a Yamabuki Ogon, that yellow one. That's a Goshki again. Cute Zuri. Goshki. There's a Baroma over there, going away. That's a Shiro Zuri, black and white. But yeah, they're all just chilling at the moment. They just want Cheerios all the time. It's just weird. I don't know why they love Cheerios over. You can see that. Look, it's just slightly pink, and there's a slightly raised on its shoulder there, just behind its pectoral fins. You can just see that bump there sticking out. Look there. You can see it better there, and they're slightly pinked. It obviously bashed itself, which is my favourite fish. These are just shabumpkins. I call that flow. Damn right. There's obviously a couple of goldfish in there, and this is like the goldfish. Some food. Lewis, when are you out live next anyway? You're back up on the 50 subs. You're back up on the 50 subs. Come on, when are you back out live on Saturday, I guess? Waiting to see it. I've missed it. There's a damn cat as well. Look at her. She likes the pellets as well. But yeah, it's good to see you all in anyway. Thank you very much for your support. I'm well pleased with people logging in, and at least it's, we can say, I've always said. Oh cool, cheers Lewis, that'll be good. Can't wait. Oh, there's Pippa, if name's about. Yeah, she's in my shorts. Big fat female ornamental goldfish stroke thing. So fat, it's unbelievable. And when she gets full of spawns, it's even worse. There's one of the new ones there. But yeah, Georgina. There's a big ghosty down there. That one's close to 60 cm, that one is. So 2 foot long. You wouldn't believe that fish was literally like a tester fish for my pond 17 years ago. It was like minuscule. It was a tester fish to make sure the pond's good. They need to, John, I'm telling you, they breed like rabbits, the damn things. And the rudd. Like you've got the problem over there with obviously the rudd that are invasive. I had them breeding here, the rudd. I had about, I don't know, 4 or 5 maybe, and I literally ended up with like 20 or 30 of the damn things in no time at all. And I had to get rid of them. I had to get rid of them. They were just a nightmare. They just literally were taking up space and growing like crazy. No, Lewis, to be fair, they eat just like the normal foods. I know they call them grass carp, but I haven't really got any. They destroy that sometimes, the lilies. They literally love to just smash the lilies. But they absolutely love surface foods and any sort of pellets, anything. They'll just thrive off any sort of like high protein foods. They were tiny when I had them first in here, but now, like I say, that one's, I think that's the biggest one. That's the drum going off now. It's cleaning all the waste. You can probably hear it in the background. What that is, it's like a big washing machine, and what happens is the waste gets caught on a screen that's on the side of the drum itself, so the pumps pump water to it, and then the drum, there's a motor that turns the drum round, and then there's jet washes that jet wash it into a tray, and then it obviously all goes to waste. So you waste about a litre of water every single time it goes off. It goes off through the summer about every 30 minutes, depending on the float switch and how much mess is in the pond. Through the winter, it's about an every hour, something like that. So you're wasting about a litre of water every hour, which is not too bad when it comes to it, really, when you think that this is like 22,000 litres of water, 5 foot deep, from that end where the window is to this end over here. That's like 5 meters of water, and then across here over into the L shape over there where the backy shower is, that's about, I don't know, nearly 4 meters of water going across there, and then across this gap here is about 2 meters of water. Well, two and a half, something like that. But yeah, it's not small. Koi and carp in a main eat anything that will go into their mouth and they like the taste of. They just eat anything and everything. I've chucked, honestly, and I'm not, no word of a lie, I've chucked chicken bones from the barbecue in there, and they'll strip them bare. They'll shoot around, swimming around with the whole chicken bone in their mouth, going crazy, and they won't let anybody else get it until they've stripped it bare. And they'll literally strip everything off it, and then I just fish it out. They obviously won't eat the chicken bone. I don't, Nick. I actually top up the tap water, but my tap water is I don't know if you can see it over there. You can see it trickling in there, right there. That goes through a dechlorinator that obviously takes out any chlorines and stuff like that. Plus it goes through another charcoal filter that I've created as well, that literally takes out any heavy metals and charcoal. And then every week as well, I put in what's known as a detox, which is that will take out every single metal, every chloramine, every chlorine out of the water. So it literally, you don't get any issues with the fish, obviously, because obviously chlorines and chloramines, fish don't like it. They don't like chlorines and chloramines. Salt, I could put the salt levels up, crazy amounts of salt. It's just insane how much I could salt this pond. I could put in 120 kilos of salt if I wanted, and it would have no adverse effects on the fish whatsoever. It would actually help them, because it's like a sort of tonic and an antibacterial sort of thing. And then, but the problem being is I've got so many plants life in the pond, as you can see from the lilies. They just hate the salt, and plus my waste from the drum goes out onto my plants in the garden, and they would get killed by the salt. So I try to keep salt out of it. I try to, if I'm treating with any sort of salt, I usually bath in salt, and that's even higher levels, like 12 grams of salt per litre, but I only let them bath in it for like 5 minutes, if max, until the fish starts like thinking, oh shit, I don't want to be in here no more. But yeah, even though they're freshwater fish, they can take massive amounts of salt. It's crazy. If you looked at any Japanese setups, they're all salted. All the Japanese breeders salt every single one of their ponds. It's literally, and to massive levels. They stick back like kilos and kilos of salt into all of their setups. But like I say, I don't, because of the plant life I've got in there, salt would just destroy them. Because I've got a normal water lily down in there in the pot down there. They're normal lilies that grow like tomorrow. The fish pull off the tubers off of them, and literally I cultivate them in there. Literally, I put the pond water in there, and they literally grow. You look like that. It's like a tuber. There, look. So they break off a little bit off the lily, and then literally I put it in pond water, and they thrive. They absolutely, even though they're designed to be in the soil, they're plants that are designed to be in the soil, they absolutely love just sitting in water. There's no soil in there whatsoever. It's just pure pond water. And they sit in there and they grow like nuts. They absolutely love it. There she is. But if you look, probably most of the Cheerios have gone. Look, you've just left a pellet. But Cheerios, they love Cheerios for some strange reason. They absolutely love Cheerios. I try not to give them too much because obviously it's very sweet. But yeah, they do love it. But you can see most of them. This summer I'll get a lot more out. But you can see most of them in the shorts. But I've recently put, as you've seen from the post, I've recently put the 4 Marseille fish in there. 2 showers. One of them's that one down there. 2 showers, a Kohaku and a Sankey. That all come from, that's the Sankey. That all come from jumbo stock. That I don't want to upset at the moment. There's another one there. I don't want to upset them at the moment. So nets in the water will just upset them. There's bream there. Big-eyed thing. Yeah, it's hard to see, but literally that, see, it's slightly pinked. See it on there now? Look, it's slightly pink, just behind his petrol fin. And that's what upset me and made me think I've got to do something. So he got a salt bath. And they've had the treatment in there now. You can see it's slightly raised. He's got a bit of a shoulder on him. Good night, Nick. Take care, buddy. Nice to see you in. Thank you very much for coming in. See, look, they're still flashing now, damn things. It's had one, I think that's about 36 hours since the treatment went in, so hopefully, fingers crossed, they got 10 days of this being there. UVs are off to stop it neutralising the treatments, because UV light will neutralise the treatments. But look at her mouth, look. She engulfs them like they're nothing. She's a pig. But that's how you get to be a big fish, I guess. There's a rudd there. There. Yeah, there. The normal rudd. Wow. Yes, totally agree, John. That's 100% why I've got a roof on it. I try and stop, because obviously you've got acid rain as well, haven't you? Which is not good. So literally, it lowers it lowers pH, it drops the KH, everything. It's not the best thing to be adding. I know it seems silly, but it's not the best thing to be adding to your pond water if you can help it. You're better off using, because like out the tap here, I know it's got chlorines and chloramines and heavy metals and stuff like that in it, but it's got a good pH, which is 7.5 here out the tap, and it's got a good GH, which is 8 GH in there. So really it's a good water for it. It's a difference. This isn't the thing is, Lewis, this isn't really, I try to make it as natural as possible, but it's not really a natural pool, is it? You know, it's all man-made, the walls are all man-made, it's fiberglass and stuff like that. So you've not got the amount of plant life, you've not got the silty bottom, you've not got the mud, you've not got the soil, you've not got the rocks and all that sort of thing. They're all creating that natural fresh water. I've got to create it with not chemicals, but like trying to create a good environment for good bacteria to grow. And the thing is, you can easily get bad bacteria that will just literally wipe out your population in no time at all. So you've got to be very vigilant of what's going on, and you've got to understand what your koi are telling you, what your fish are telling you. If you see dorsal fins that are down, if you see pectoral fins that are clamped in next to their bodies, that's all telling you signs that there's something not quite right. And then you've got to start going down the lines of testing. So you could start going down the lines of testing all your parameters of your water to make sure everything's good. And then you've got to test things like chlorines, chloramines, all this. Look at him. Look, you're literally wrecking my lily. The damn achievers wrecking my lily, trying to get to food. But yeah, you've got to go down the lines of all these different things and tests to just make sure everything's all right. And then if still things are not looking right to you, then you've got to start netting fish out, and you've got to be scraping them with like slides and plastic and stuff like that, and putting them under the microscope, checking for different parasites. It ain't easy, I'm telling you. And once you've then identified these things, that's when you've got to do something about it. You've always got to be proactive. So you're always looking ahead, watching, observing fish behaviour. That's why it's helped me a lot because I've got quite a few natural species in here. It's helped me a lot in fishing, to be fair. I observe, I check baits in here. I literally put a bait in here and see what it does. I don't put hooks in here, but I put a bait in there and see what happens. If they come charging towards it, I know that it's good. But it's, you know, it is a hell of a lot. It's a fine balance. It is a fine balance, and behind the scenes, there's a hell of a lot of clear. Sorry. It doesn't have to be clear. The fish couldn't give a crap whether it's clear or not. That's just for me, my benefit. You know, for anybody else's benefit, to be able to see your fish, to be able to see the bottom at 5 foot deep. You need UVs, because otherwise it'll be green as pea soup. Fish couldn't give a shit. Fish don't mind whether it's pea soup or not. It's still healthy water, but you've got to produce that healthy water to be able to keep the fish alive. And to keep this sort of stock of fish alive, you need some seriously healthy water. You need to be taking out all the crap instantly, and then the waterborne sort of things, ammonias, nitrites, you need your your other medias like ceramic medias and your other sorts of medias to be taking that out, eating that up, consuming it. If you look at the moving bed, all that media started off as white. It all looks like orangey brown now on my short. And that's because that's all beneficial bacteria. They're all consuming everything that the fish waste produces. Plants, then it then gets turned into nitrates. The plants consume it. All these plants around, that's why they're like blinking like the tropics, because they literally consuming my nitrates. They're doing a thing for me. Like that one over there. That's the original one. But them leaves, that leaf there is, I don't know, it's well over a foot. From point to the stem, that's well over a foot. It's massive. It's just like insane, really. And it is like a tropical environment. They're like consuming all the waste that my filters are turning into nitrates, and they're consuming off of it. They're getting sunlight and they're getting nitrates. They don't give a crap whether in soil or not. They're just in water. It's taken years, Lewis. It's taken years, and I still not learned anywhere like. I still go to other people to ask questions, like I asked John tonight. What that black spot was on Big Mama, I don't know. I haven't got a clue. She's got like a black spot on her cheek. I haven't got a clue. But you're always learning. Fishing, you're always learning. In fish, always learning. It's a complete and utter learning game. It really is. And a lot of time you learn from your mistakes. A lot of people start off and they think, oh yeah, I've got a massive pond, I can fill it with massive fish. I did the same, and then I just caused myself a whole lot of hurt. Yeah, they have. Yeah, but nitrate doesn't actually hurt the fish, but it won't cause them. You'll never kill a fish with high nitrates. You'll kill a fish with high ammonia for sure, and you'll kill a fish with high nitrite. Yes, you won't kill a fish with high nitrates, but their demeanour, they certainly won't like spawning, they won't like eating so much and stuff like that if your nitrate is high as well. They don't like nitrates, but it doesn't kill them. And plants love them. Plants love the nitrates. That's what they thrive off of. But yeah, I agree. There's loads of places that have got high nitrates. A lot of your fish dealers have got high nitrates. But I try and keep my nitrates down because your fish are happier without nitrates in the water as well. It's not just ammonias and nitrites. You need the full circle, really. You need to knock everything out. And the most you can knock out the water, the better. Or the more you can knock out the water, the better. And certainly chlorines and chloramines that come out of tap water, they've got to go. Heavy metals, another one, got to go. Right, well, I've babbled on enough anyway, haven't I? Too much. It's good to see you all in, and thanks very much for tuning in. Yeah. Yes, definitely, John. Salt can literally knock out nitrates and put them back to a safe level again. Yes, they'll build again, nitrites, but then what happens is you can then knock them back with salt. And salt helps the demeanour of the fish. The fish can take stress a lot better if there's salt in the water. That's why the Japanese can stock massive amounts of fish. I couldn't stock what the Japanese stock here, no way. Couldn't get to them levels. It's just the insane what the Japanese can do. But a lot of it is the salt. It helps their demeanour, it helps their immune systems, it helps them calm down, it chills them out. But they haven't got plants in their ponds. Yeah, it is. It's a natural antibiotic. Not antibiotic. Antiseptic. It really is. Hey Alan, good to see you, mate. Yeah, they do. They love. I don't know about loving salt, but salt in certain levels can kill parasites even. It'll kill flipping fluke off, it'll kill flipping gill fluke off. If you've got enough level, it won't kill your fish, but it'll kill off parasites. It's just a natural agent that helps fish. If you haven't seen it, Alan, that's a Kinkizuri. That's a common carp there. That one's close to £20, that is. That's the albino grass carp, which I have 4 of them in there. That's what's known as a goshiki or goshki. Excuse the light. It's the reflection of my floodlights coming down there. That's a Kizuri, that yellow and black one there. That's a goshki, that one down there. We've already seen that one, Kinkizuri. That one's over there, hard to tell, but hard to see. That's a Kinshoa, that is. That's why it's like orangey, orange and black rather than red and black. That's a Orangi Ogon there. That one there is a Showa, that red, black and white one there. Down there, one of the new ones. To replace Alan, they would be a lot of money. I was really concerned. That one's over 50 centimeters, probably about 53 centimeters. That one is, and it's got like a pinning on. It's just behind its gill there, behind its pectoral fin. See, it's like a slight pinking and a few raised scales there. That one is well over £1,000. To replace that would be well over £1,000 now. I didn't pay that, nowhere like that. Obviously I bought it small, you can see it, little slight bump there, raising of the scales there. I didn't pay anywhere near that. But to replace it now, well over £1,000. Well over £1,000. To get that fish at that size, that's been with me for probably 12, 13 years now. Something like that. And other ones, that's only a small fish, probably cost me 15, 20 quid, if that. That big one, hard to believe, but can't find it now. Where is it? That one down there that I call Hungary, that one there, that's a 53 centimetre. It's gone underneath the damn plant now. It's always the one that you want to find that disappears. But that one there, going along the yellow, orange and black one, you wouldn't believe it, but that cost me £8.99, so 9 quid. I bought that from an auction that nobody else wanted to buy it, and I bought that for that one there. That one there I bought for £8.99. It's now 55 centimeters, and it's probably well over £1,000. Well over £1,000. How long can they live for? You'd have to look it up, but I know fish that have gone over 60 years, Lewis. 60 years. But I don't know what the actual Guinness World Record, the world record is for the lifespan of a koi carp. But I've certainly known over 60 years. %, John. That's what I'm doing every single day. Constantly just viewing fish. Constantly. You've got to just go from the signs of them. It's literally, if their dorsal fins up, that's a big telltale. If their pectoral fins are out, that's another good telltale sign. If you see things like that, if they're not scratching and stuff like that, then you stay away. You don't want to be giving them chemicals. I don't want to be chucking chemicals in here left, right and centre, because otherwise you're just destroying natural stuff on their skins, their slime coats and stuff like that. You're better off just leaving them alone. If you can leave them alone, fair enough. But as soon as you see the slightest sign, you need to be getting them out, looking at them, taking scrapes, making sure they're healthy. First thing is to check your water parameters, making sure everything's good. It's literally, you've just got to be very, very vigilant. You've got to be very, very vigilant. But all these little signs in fish tell you massive things. The smallest thing can tell you masses. If fins aren't out, like, they should be swimming around naturally. Dorsal fins up, pectoral fins out. Should be using their pectoral fins properly, not paddling with their pectoral fins. They should be just cruising and using their pectoral fins to steer. That one there, Alan, is, like I said to a few people now, I've said it so many times, but that common there is close to £20. It's not small, and it's certainly not a fish I'd ever try to net out of the pond now. It's been in there from day one, and this pond has been installed for over 17 years now, and that fish has been in there since day one. It started off about 6 inches long. It was actually a cheap fish that I used to test the waters, to test the parameters, and she's still going now. She's still going strong. She causes a mess when it comes to spawning time. She literally wrecks my water. She wrecks my water, she does. But I wouldn't give her up for nothing, and I wouldn't try and catch her, because a carp that size would literally smash itself to bits rather than being wanted to be pulled out of here now. It would literally create havoc. It really would. But we were going down the lines of that black round like mole thing on her face. That appeared a few years ago now, and I still don't know what it is. Well, John was trying to tell me what it is, but I don't know. I really don't. It's weird. It just appeared, and it's just got bigger and bigger. You'll see it now. Look, perfect round circle. There, look, on her cheek. Black round circle. So strange. But other than that, she's immaculate. Absolutely immaculate. Scale perfect. Yeah, it is happy. She'll consume a slice of bread like it's not even like wholemeal bread, like it's not even, well, not even there. Just honestly, she'll suck it in, and that literally she'll chew the whole thing up. But I'm not like all these other koi people. I give them whatever they want. If they're happy eating it, they get it. See, John knows the story. He's got it all covered. Yeah, I give them what they want. If they want blinking Cheerios, if they want a piece of chicken, they get it. If they don't eat it, I take it out. It's as simple as that. There's two big bottom drains here, one over there, down the bottom there where the bubbles are coming up, and there's another one there by the window over there. I don't expect you've seen the window, Alan, actually. Yeah, they get pellets, Cheerios. Hello, Pierre. How are you doing, buddy? Yeah, they get pellets, Cheerios. Look. They like the Cheerios the best, but they've had quite a bit tonight, to be fair, so they might not be too hungry. But they don't stop eating. They're eating machines. Yeah, it's literally, that's a food I keep on experimenting. It's a mix of loads of different things, to be fair. There's a few different types in there, red ones and different ones. But literally I don't expect you've seen that, Alan, but literally, oh, there's a damn cat. There, that's a window, obviously, goes into the pond. But that's 5 foot deep. And bubbles coming up, that's where the bottom drain is. You can't really see it. There, look, Karashigoi, common carp, grass carp, cute zuri, or kin cute zuri, Orangiova on there. I haven't seen the sturgeon hardly at all tonight, which is very weird. There's the big common, look. Look, that window's a metre across. She's a beast. She's a beast. She really is. Absolute beast. That Karashi, if you look in the shorts, that one's in the net, and one of them albino grass carp is in the net. Well, that net is not a small net. It's a massive. It's a massive net. I mean massive. It's like a metre across that string, across the net, but I adapted it to make a shallow net, so they didn't get all caught up and catch their fins in it. So I adapted a carp net, a big carp net, to be able to only be sort of like, I don't know, 8 inches deep, so that it doesn't catch them in their fins too much. But literally, if we show you, I don't want to stress them too much because obviously the new ones are in there. But if I show you this Karashigoi here, oh, she's being a pain. She's getting away. She's getting away. I don't want to stress them too much because I've just recently put new fish in there. These red and white ones, and red and white and black ones are new fish. So the stress is like too much at the moment. Hungary usually is pretty good, aren't you, Hungary? There you go. There we go. There we go. She's pretty good. She's pretty placid. Like I say, I don't want to stress them too much. But she ain't no small fish, I can tell you that now. She's a beast. She's an absolute beast. She's as fat as she is long. She's alright. To be fair, she's pretty good. She's been netted a few times before and she doesn't really worry too much. But she ain't small. No way. She's a big unit of a fish. I don't know. It's difficult to put a weight on them, to be fair. Like obviously most of koi are measured in length, but to put weight on her, I don't know. She's probably touching 10 pounds, I expect. Close. You'll see her in the shorts anyway. She's in the bowl in the shorts, and you can see how long she is. That is centimeters, obviously. Oh shit, the battery's just about to go. Rightio, well thanks everybody so much. I really appreciate it, and I really appreciate the likes. 18 likes is phenomenal for me. I'm not here out to make any sort of money out of it, and you know, I'm just happy to answer questions, and if people have got questions and stuff like that, I'll answer them if I can, and if not, I'll everybody, and stay safe. Okay, cheers, thanks everybody for tuning in.